Hi, I'm Richard, Vice President at OPT, and one of the things we get a lot of questions about are my test scores good enough, right? And that question's a little bit hard to answer because it's always relative. Every college has its own requirements and expectations, and so really once you start figuring out what colleges you plan to apply to, we can start to figure out, is your score competitive or not? One really reliable way to do that is to look at each school's common data set. So for example, a lot of students are interested in University of Florida. And so if you wanted to get some more information about, what does University of Florida expect as far as SAT or ACT scores, how many students are there that apply every year, how many get accepted, that kind of thing, you could just Google University of Florida, UF, common data set, right? What you might find for many of these schools is some kind of link saying institutional planning and research, some kind of department like that, but it will be on their website, right? And just essentially pick the latest one available. Right now I see for UF, the latest one is from the 2024 to 25 school year. I'm sure they'll have 25 to 26 in a couple of months. But again, this is going to give you the most up-to-date, the most accurate information regarding the school's expectations. The report starts off with some general information, the school's name, things of that nature, nothing too interesting. But the sections we really want to pay attention to are sections B and section C, the most important one. So section B will give you some information regarding the enrollment of the school and kind of the student body, things of that nature. But section C is where it gets really interesting because section C is the first year admissions section. I should mention, I'm kind of reading this off of the UF common data set, so you can follow along. But for the most part, all schools follow the same template. And so in general, if you're interested, I would say just Google the name of your school and common data set and skip straight to section C. Because section C is going to give you all the information regarding how many students applied, how many students were admitted, what were their GPAs and test scores like, and even things like, for example, it talks about the distribution of high school units. So how many math classes should you take? How many social studies classes should you take? And it's interesting, you'll notice that there's a units required and a units recommended. I'll give you a hint. If something is recommended by a school that you like, you should probably do it because recommended is just secretly required. And then you can also see a table that shows all of the different factors that are considered in an application. The student's GPA, their test scores, but even the non-academic things like an interview, extracurricular activities, volunteer work, and they kind of list out what they consider to be most important or most influential in their admissions decisions. Of course, you shouldn't necessarily change everything or dedicate everything you're doing in high school just to maximize this table. But if you know that you really want to get into UF, for example, and they really value extracurricular activities, that might influence some of the decisions you make in terms of how you allocate your time. And then the real key thing as far as test prep is concerned is, of course, the test scores. So it breaks down in a table the different percentile groups of students that took the SAT and students that took the ACT. And so one of the most important things is this table here that shows the different distributions of the SAT scores and ACT scores for students that applied and were admitted to UF in this cohort. So it breaks it down by different percentiles. We see 25th percentile, 50th, and 75th. So the way to kind of read that, if we take a look, for example, at SAT, the 25th percentile for the SAT composite score is a 1330. So what that means is about 25% of students got a 1330 or less and were admitted into UF. By the same token, right, 50th percentile is a 1400, so about half of students got a 1400 or less, and so about 75% of students got a 1470 or less. Another way to think about that is if you're in between that 25th and 75th percentile, you're kind of in the middle 50% of students that applied and got in, then you know that your SAT score is competitive. Same thing if you're in the middle 50% range of the ACT, then you know the ACT, so in between 29 and 33. If you're in between a 29 and 33, you know your ACT score is competitive. If you're above the 75th percentile mark, you know that you have a pretty strong score for this school, and that's obviously going to reflect very positively on your application. On the other hand, if you're below that 25th percentile, then you don't have the strongest score for this school. That doesn't mean you shouldn't apply, but that's maybe one reason to consider test prep and trying to get a better score on these tests. But that will give you a much better idea in terms of what is a good score than whatever group chats and rumors and things you might have heard online. This is the data straight from UF in this case. And so again, you should look this up for any school you're interested in applying into. Besides that, like I mentioned, you can get a little bit more information regarding GPA and other kind of stats like that, but the test prep is usually what most people are curious about. And so again, just to reiterate, you want to look for Section C, first time, first year admissions. And again, it's a pretty long document. It's almost 50 pages. And so there might be other things here that are important for you and what you might be interested in finding out. But in terms of kind of answering that question of, are my test scores good for insert school here, you can get a pretty good idea by checking out the Common Data Set, Section C.